Today we're connecting with my good friend Winona Lumague from the Philippines, who is a certified
Hello.
ADHD diagnosed and an advocate, and she has been studying ADHD and NPL, NLP, there.
NLP.
Yeah, NLP. So, welcome, Winona.
Yeah.
Hi, hi, hi. Thank you for joining.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Such a pleasure.
So, we know each other from the ADHD Society of the Philippines. And first of all, disclaimer, this is not sponsored by the society, or we don't represent the society in any
Yeah.
way. Yeah? We're two ADHDers here
Hi.
sharing our experience. So, we met there and we both became advocates. And I find it very interesting to invite you here because
Right.
you're a ADHDer who's also an entrepreneur who is a hardcore tennis player and wants to be one of the best tennis players in the Philippines. So you're an ADHDer who is using this superpower, who is using this obsessiveness and this energy to become a better person and achieve more, and also help
Right.
others on the way. So that's why it's perfect for Cyclops has ADHD, because this is what this is about focusing and empowering the ADHD community. Yeah. So let us know a little what what you were struggling with as you grew up, and then you realized it, and what you started doing about it.
Yeah. When I was that I'm very happy to be invited in your YouTube channel. And to answer your question, I guess when I was a kid, I had a lot of troubles, not really in school per se, but more of behavior. Like I had a difficulty with controlling my impulses, and at the same time that it led to like being called in school, and at the same time, lot, school projects and homeworks and all those things. Um, Also, I guess, in the Philippine parents, parang, I guess before I also got engaged into arguments with parents, which is normal because they say that in Tagalog, people with ADHD are palasagot. We're very good at reasoning. So, but I guess
Giving
it's not really a
excuses.
big deal to have ADHD for me. It's just that I was diagnosed late. And when you're diagnosed late and you're unable to be given the resources because you're not aware that you have ADHD, so you don't have the behavioral modification like other children do, then it becomes a struggle for you in college. So I guess when it started having bigger problems for me during college, and also at a certain time in relationships, because they say that you're a little bit defiant, but I guess I wouldn't say that it's because of ADHD. I think it's the background that I have. So yes, the biggest thing is, when it piles up, the difficulties of having ADHD. And I guess as a kid also, if your parents don't know that you have ADHD, then it's kind of difficult to parent a kid with ADHD. And parents have so much patience, so they do things that are not the best parenting practices, and as a result, parang lower self-esteem. So I guess that's one of the, I think, things that people with ADHD or kids with ADHD tend to struggle with, is a low self-esteem if the parents don't know. So, ayan.
Yeah, so because the parents tend to try to make you be a normal person, and then that makes you
Right. They don't
feel
understand.
inadequate. No, that makes you feel like a failure. That makes you feel like you don't fit, and and then you get depressed and all these things. Yeah, and you might throw the towel, right? That's a big danger, and that it's good that we can help parents understand that
Right.
there's no need to fit our kid in the normal society pattern, because
Yes.
that's a
Because
recipe for failure. Yeah.
yes, as you're aware, we met in the ADHD support group, and in the ADHD support group, we're very lucky to have a facilitator, si Mr. Pong and si Ma'am Jo, the coordinator. And sometimes we would have lunch together, and we have this little conversation. And as parents, parang what they formed, having children with ADHD, what like si Ma'am Jo and si Sir Pong, parang they realized that before their old parenting styles weren't working, and a lot of parents they only want the best for their children, but they're not what they think is best for their children is not the same as what the children thinks is best for them, and ultimately the kid, whether it's 5, 10 old or a teenager or even a young adult, he or she knows what is best for him deep inside. And parents have this criteria of what is good for the kids. And the conflict here is that children subconsciously, they don't know it consciously, that they want to please their parents. They want to get love from their parents. And it doesn't connect well because the children have different notions of who they want to be, and the parents have a specific mold for the kids. And that is the rift that causes a lot of problems like depression. And I guess it can even be as worse as even, having suicidal tendencies for people. I guess it's not just people with ADHD, but it's also applicable across the board. I would
Yeah,
say the
but
biggest problem is that people try to fit people into molds.
but yeah, even more for us because we're highly emotional beings. Yeah, so yeah,
Right.
it's harder to keep it at bay. So okay, so when you discovered it, you were diagnosed. What did you start taking pills? Was that a normal path?
Um. Yeah, because when you visit a psychiatrist, especially like for me, like 20 minutes into the session, the psychiatrist, based on because it's they base it off of stories and your accounts of what happened to you in the past, and also some certain criteria. So he was basically saying like, yeah, you definitely have ADHD, and probably you have a very like severe kind of ADHD. So within 20 minutes into the session, he gave me a Ritalin. That's like the drugs for ADHD, and to be honest, it worked. Like gives you the what do you call this, the executive functioning that we don't normally have. But within let's say a bottle and a half to 2 bottles, I realized that it isn't for me. Like besides just the side effects of Ritalin, but I realized that I'd never want to hold myself dependent on any drugs. So parang I took it upon myself to just stop taking the medications and learn of more sustainable ways to handle myself. And luckily enough, I met certain people who helped me along to find, like ways to handle myself without any drugs. And it's been good. It's been
What
good.
what were those side effects that you didn't like?
Uh, for me, I feel like, like my heart was beating pretty fast. Yeah, probably that's the biggest thing that I didn't like. But it did work because I was in an OJT doing a mundane job, which mundane jobs. So you normally a certain job would take me 3 hours, and the first day that I took it, it took me an hour. But then I realized, in my life, I never even want to be doing any mundane jobs, anyways. So why would I take medication so that I can do a mundane job if in the first place?
Yeah, I guess some people get
And
tricked into that,
parang,
because uh, it's like I have to pay the bills, so I have to do what normal people do, and then
yeah,
the way to do that effectively is to take the drugs. So two things happen: one, you become unhappy; two, you become a drug addict because you're dependent on that drug in order to work.
a lot of people are also being pressured. Yeah, a lot of people are being pressured by what society values. And here, unfortunately enough, a lot of the general thinking is that, you need to be having a 9 to 5 job, you need to be having a financial security, and you need to be having material wealth in order for you to be considered as someone who is looked up to into this society that we are in right now. Although I'd say that there are people more who are realizing that what really matters is for you to be peaceful and joyful and be true to yourself, and that beneficial to society as a whole, in my opinion. Because what good would the world would do if we have a bunch of people who are not happy about jobs, spreading negativity, instead of having people who are doing what their passion is, and in the end, you can feel it, diba, if you're around people who are enjoying what they're doing, versus someone who's just complaining and whining because they signed themselves up for something that
Yeah,
yeah,
we see that a
that's
lot.
my
We see that a lot. Unhappy people who are ranting. And that happens to the general population. But in our case, it gets
right.
even worse because it can go towards suicide. And even if you try
Right.
very hard to fit, you're still going to be mediocre and you're going to be bad at your job because there's something in our mind that's going to really pull us to do a bad job and be late and and make mistakes.
Most
It's
people
gonna
who have
be tricking us.
ADHD aren't even right. Because I think that also most people who have ADHD, especially the hyperactive kind, we're not really we're not really fit for those kinds of jobs. Anyways, we're not born for those kinds of jobs. So, parang what use is it to for us to try to push ourselves to fit into something that we're not, diba? In the end, it's about finding what works for you and finding what job is something that you like, something that you don't have to motivate yourself. If an ADHD person likes what they're doing, they don't have to motivate themselves at all. And in my opinion, they don't really have to, push themselves to do anything. They would be doing it even if no one asked, doing whatever their passion is. Diba? 'Cause parang they're saying that people with ADHD like us, there's something called hyperfocus. And that's something that I feel when I play tennis. It's as if time doesn't exist, diba? When I play tennis, it's as if nothing else exists. And that's the best feeling in the world right now. Parang for me, when I play tennis, I feel so peaceful.
Mhm.
And people should find a job. Not really a job, but people should find something that they can make money off of, something that they really care about. People care about many different things, so just find a way to make money of it. I mean, we're in the 21st century. People would pay if you have value in whatever you're doing. So that's,
Especially now,
I
we can
guess,
make money
people
out
with
of
ADHD.
anything thanks to the internet, right? There's people who are professional
Right.
video game players. You can be
Right.
a lover
YouTube.
of paint. You can be a painter and have an Instagram and show how you paint and teach others how to paint. There are many ways to monetize, especially nowadays. Yeah, so it's worth giving it
Right.
a shot. And life is too short. Let's be happy. So what are the main tips and tricks that work for you that you found that really help you be effective and happy?
For me, I guess it would be to really find what you want, and to, like you say, you always say this during the adult support group, is to stop pleasing other people. As much as people want to please people around them, but it's never healthy for your mentality anyways. So you have to have that self-love within yourself, that even if other people don't accept me, what is important is that I accept myself. And if you start from there, I guess you could do whatever you want, and it wouldn't matter if you receive any criticisms, if you know what I mean. And also, I guess it would be, you know to handle yourself and to be able to focus very well, because even if that's like the main like problem for people with ADHD, we can focus ourselves. And one thing that I do that really helps a lot, and this was introduced to me by my dad's friend. He's a business person and he also has ADHD, and he was very open about it, because in the beginning And probably one of the most important ways to cope with it is to do mindfulness meditation. So that really gets you into living in the moment, and at the same time it will really get you buy some time so you can create good decisions for yourself and have this control in the way you speak. Helps a lot.
So you do
I
your
can't say anything else
mindfulness
about
meditation, what, once a day,
right.
twice a day? How long does that take?
um when I'm usually around 20 minutes to 40 minutes per day. Sometimes I skip some days, but when I see myself that hey, I'm not living in the moment, then you meditate. And mindfulness meditation, actually, you don't even have to do it on a separate, like, living in the moment. Like, I'm talking to you right now,
Mm-hmm.
and yet I'm anchoring myself to the sounds of the air conditioning unit. So that's getting me into enjoying the presence of Kuya Manzano. And that's really what mindfulness is about. It's living in the moment, right at this very second, not 1 second after and not 1 second before. So besides that, it's a big difference in my life, I would say. Life coaching. And some person once told me this is the best life coach is the one who is able to control his or herself. So that's the best benefit of taking life coaching, which is to use it on yourself and also use it on other people.
So
The two
studying
best
neuro-linguistic
coping mechanisms,
programming, NLP, that's what helped you.
right? Yeah,
Also learn about yourself and taught you how to control yourself more.
right.
Uh,
Yes.
can you explain? Many people don't know about neuro-linguistic programming. So it's the way we talk to ourselves inside our brain.
Yeah, it's right. Right. NLP is the language of how we think, and it's just really about the way we behave. We think creates the way we feel, and the way we feel creates how we behave. So there are a lot of intricacies into NLP, but it's really about certain techniques that you can use on yourself so that you can have more self control, get rid of phobias, and maybe things like change your beliefs to more empowering beliefs. Yeah, it's basically a set of techniques that are grouped to help a person and be a better version of themselves.
All right. So, well, that's very, very helpful. Yeah, we got like that I can recall through the conversation several tricks. One is follow your passion, because that way you can hyper focus. Two, don't try to please others, and parents, don't try to fit your kids inside the box of the normality, because you're gonna be an unhappy person. And many of us in the support group don't take any drugs, any meds, in order
Yeah, a lot.
uh, to cope or to have a normal life or a successful life. I also tried Ritalin, and the same thing happened with me. I was also getting palpitations. The aggravant I had is I took it at the same time that I took coffee, so probably that was not supposed to happen. I wasn't
Yeah,
supposed to do
put
that,
together.
but I did get very afraid, and actually I don't like being dependent, and also it's expensive at the same time. So
Right, it's like 6,000 pesos per bottle.
yeah, so and
Yeah.
well, I'm also learning through meditation, through exercise. I'm gonna give that tip. Through exercise definitely helps me be happier, more calm, and more focused during the day. If every day I'm
Right.
making it, thanks to this lockdown, I'm being more disciplined than ever. It's yes or yes. I do hundreds of push-ups every day, and yes or yes because I'm a rebel and I'm going against, because that's a very ADHD. I'm going and I'm walking every day half an hour. Yes or yes, I'm going and I'm walking half an hour, because it's really beneficial for calming my mind. If not, I'm going crazy here inside the house. Today I didn't even have a coffee, and I was already nervous going up and down inside the house. So I had to go outside and burn some energy. And the latest tip that I pick up from you is the studying NLP, which personally I done very in the surface level, and I have it there like in the pending task, like 100,000 pending tasks I have. But I do see the effect because I read Tony Robbins, and he's an NLP practitioner. Yeah, and it's very important how you talk to yourself, how you structure the sentence will change how you feel and how you think. So definitely,
how you believe.
Yeah, I experienced the benefit of that kind of thinking, and I wanna really look more into it. I have a quote from Tony Robbins here in my wall right up here. It says, "We can change our lives.
Right.
We can do, have, and be exactly what we wish." I have it here, posted here in my wall. I look at that every day. So we can do whatever we want with our lives, especially you, ADHDer. We can. We have powerful minds.
People don't really recognize their capability. Yeah.
There are
People don't
many.
really recognize their capabilities more often than not. And, it's like they don't recognize if they think they can do 10 push-ups, but really in reality, they could do 15, because people don't really think of themselves as enough as they should. It's like going to the gym, I also exercise this COVID lockdown, and I do like exercises that say push-ups, and I think I could 15. But if you tell your mind, I do extra reps. I do extra 3, 5 reps or even more. And I guess that's really a proof that, we don't give ourselves enough, like enough boost that we can actually do really well in whatever it is that we're doing.
Yeah. There's this Navy SEAL, David Goggins. He's a lot in this success world. He's very interviewed, and he says when you're like dying that you cannot go anymore, when you're thinking you have to give up because you're gonna faint, you're only at 60% of your capabilities. So that's said by this super marathon man. So keep on pushing yourself. It's okay. You won't die. Hit it a little harder. Yeah. Hey, disclaimer.
That's true. Also exercise and also tennis. Like I used to run around the laps, the running Olympic laps in Marikina. And when I was young, I used to think, okay, I could only do 10. And then on the 10th lap, my thighs feel sore. I feel like I cannot go on. But then like I just go with music. There's people who are still running for like 40 laps.
Mm-hmm.
48 laps, and then I'm like, I don't even feel the pain anymore. It's also with tennis, like, I'm playing tennis and I feel so like out of breath, and then when I continue and I push myself, eventually it's like I could play tennis. Believe it or not, the longest time I've played is 6 hours straight. So I guess I'm not encouraging, overtraining, but I mean it's just an example that, you could really do much more than.
Yeah. The only limitation is in your mind. Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, guys, thank you so much, Winona. Yeah. And see you soon in the support group, whenever virtually or in real life. Yes.
I have something to say to people who are your viewers,
Go.
There's one thing that I realized that whenever it's people who have ADHD or people with depression or going through something, parang need to, make themselves vulnerable to tell other people. And a lot of people, from my experience, meeting with friends and relatives, parang they're afraid to get help or get support, even just a person to talk to. And I can say that's pretty sad, that people are so afraid to, get support. And I guess my message here is that, if you're going through something, never it and getting a friend to help you, especially someone who's pretty good at processing people, people with NLP skills are good at processing people. And, going into a support group, I guess it's one of the, like, best decisions I've ever made in my life. And a lot of people are afraid to go to these groups. Parang they feel like, there's a connotation or there's a stigma that if someone goes into these groups, then there's something wrong with them. But whoever is your listener, I would like to tell them that there is never anything wrong with you, and you're already perfect just the way you are, and all you need to do is accept it. You feel like is lacking in you is just something that you need to, not really change, but it's just something that you need to decide what is more congruent for you, and you just have to align yourself with your goals, beliefs, and values in life, and that will create a very peaceful and happy life. And I guess for me, that's my rest in life. And no matter what you achieve in life, whether it's wealth or fame or whatever, deep down for me, what really is important is people are happy and peaceful, and they're spreading all this the rest of the world. So my message is, if you guys have any problems, you guys have something that you guys want to talk about, either go to the ADHD Society of the Philippines in the support group if you are someone with ADHD, or who just well, we're not really paid or promoted. I mean, from someone who's been helped so much by the society, I'm very thankful. Then the second one is, go hit me up on Facebook. My name is Winona Lumague. Send me a message if you guys have any problems and you guys want coaching. I'm here to be a light in this world and then to share help to people who are in need. So yeah, I'm here for your viewers.
Yeah, thanks so much. Definitely, the ADHD Society of the Philippines has helped me a lot, and that's why I'm constantly going there and supporting the group. Probably we can share this over there because we didn't swear down the code. So it's this is child friendly. This is a child friendly interview. So good. We're gonna try to keep it wholesome. There you go. Okay, thank you so much, Winona. And guys, subscribe.
Thank you so much,
subscribe
guys.
To this channel. Yeah. See ya. Thank you. Bye bye.